Hi, I'm Duncan and I'd like to welcome you to my latest YouTube feature. Today is Record Store Day. Basically, it's a project to help most of the record shops in the UK and all over the world. In fact, most of the record shops now are independents and struggling to survive. And Record Store Day is an initiative by the uh, record industry to come up with uh, reprints of well loved albums and new pieces of work to help the independent record shops survive. And it's very successful. A lot of people support it. It's the second one I've been to. Very large queue. I got the number 71 bus into Kingston and went to the back of a very long queue that was twice as long. But by the time I got to the front of the shop, it was still as long as it was when I had joined it. So people were coming and joining the queue all the time. I had a good idea of the type of works that I wanted to get, and I was relatively successful. The first one I'm going to show you is this picture disc, uh, which is Herman and the Hermits. Now, I thought this was the Peter Noon group, but I don't think it is. I think this is a group that were around before the Peter Noon group got formed, and it disbanded. And it hadn't really done a lot. It had done a bit of recording, but it hadn't had a lot of success. So they disbanded, and then I think it was they were able. Another company came along and formed Herman's Hermits with Peter Noon. But it's a picture disc. It looks rather nice, and I'm quite pleased with that. We've then got two little EPs. We've got, if you like, Gerry Anderson. We've got the UFO single. Well, it's an EP from the Barry Gray Orchestra, and it's very beautifully packaged. The only thing I have against these silver screen singles is the fact that this is Stingray. Well, the Barry Gray Orchestra. I was very proud to say that I actually met Barry Gray in 1982, not long before he passed away. As I say, they're beautiful, these records. The only thing I have against silver screen is that the packaging, the sleeve of the record is very wide, so the record is very loose in, and one of my other silver screen singles slipped right out of its sleeve onto the floor, and I hope it's not damaged because couldn't get a replacement for it. But they are beautiful, lovely records. And then I've got here the just the back first, and the Twist and Shout single from Brian Poole and the Tremolos. This is in late 1963, just at the same time as the Beatles' Twist and Shout EP had come out from the Please Please Me album. And there was quite a lot of rivalry. Both versions got into the top 10, and apparently Brian Poole and John Lennon used to phone each other up, depending on which version was higher up the top 10 charts. And eventually, I think it's the Beatles that won, because I think they got to number 2, and I think John Lennon said something down the phone to Brian Poole, who they were both in concert the nights they phoned each other because they knew which theatre they were hanging out in. But I think John said something that wasn't repeatable to Brian Poole. But both versions are very good. Of course, I'm going to be biased and say I prefer the Beatles version. But those are a little 10-inch records and three 7-inch records. And then going on to the LPs, I'm very delighted to say that the John Lennon's estate in June there will be a special edition of Mind Games, and this is an EP with some outtakes from the Mind Games to help promote this project. This one is the glowing. It glows in the dark. I've always had a thing about things that glow in the dark, but it's very, very nice. The tracks I've also got it's exactly the same track listing. This is the black vinyl edition. They've got the tracks Mind Games Ultimate Mix, a version of I Am the Greatest, which is a song that was basically handed to Ringo for the Ringo album. It's got Ringo actually is on this track, and Klaus Fortman, the German bassist, is also on it. Then he's got the song I can't pronounce it, Asumasen, I'm sorry, and then You Are Here. But lovely records, and an absolute wonderful for a John Lennon fan or Beatles fan. And I've got the new Crooked Boy by Ringo Starr. This is an EP that's coming out on CD in a few weeks' time, and I think there's going to be another vinyl version of it. This is very nice. It's a picture of Ringo that looks very much around about 1965, possibly during the production of Help. Ringo, God bless him, he's now coming up to 84 and is still working, and he looks about 50 years younger. May he carry on drumming for a long, long time to come. Then got keeping up the Beatle theme. The George Harrison's estate, that's Mrs. Harrison and Darnie, that's George's widow and son, has seen fit to reissue Wonderwall in this special presentation. Wonderwall was a movie in 1968, and George did the soundtrack music for it. I think it was an Indian film. I think that's very interesting, almost like Monty Python packaging on the front. And the record, it's Apple's first record, I believe, and this is the record inside picture disc type thing. Very, very nice. I haven't had a chance to get it out yet, but that's what it looks like. It's very nice. And the album did quite well. It's George's first solo album, 1968, and then followed by Electronic Sounds, which was released on the Zapple label, which was a label that George and John used for their avant-garde works. And this has been this edition with the special vinyl has been commissioned by, I think, both by Dark Horse, which is George's official record company. It's got some, and this is the original artwork on the front, rather lovely, very unusual. I don't think it was received as well by the critics as Wonderwall, but it's lovely to have it. And then last, but by no means least, a Doctor Who adventure on vinyl, 1964, with William Hartnell playing the Doctor. He was the first Doctor, and William Russell playing Ian Chesterton, that's right, and Carol Ann Ford. She played Susan, the Doctor's granddaughter. She's she reads the linking material, and I presume yes, it's got Jacqueline Hill as well as Barbara. So that is just lovely. That'd be the original soundtrack from the 1960s, with some bridging material. Doctor Who fans should be very happy with that. And you just get to that, get a lovely picture of the TARDIS as it's whirring around. So that's lovely. The only thing I wanted that I couldn't get, and I asked about it, was that there was a 3-inch CD single of the Beatles, She Loves You, and apparently that is only for the American market. So I see, like that is it. Well, and I told them I'm not going to swim the Atlantic to get a copy. I can live without that. But some lovely stuff there, and a lot of very happy people leaving. They obviously had a lot of copies of these works. I didn't, because there was a lovely lad and his leading lady I was talking to who just in front of me in the queue, and he was it's just the boyfriend was getting one album, and I said a prayer for him, because I thought, he's queued up all this time. It's going to be pretty devastating. You suddenly find that the record's not available or something. It's sold out. But I think he was a happy bunny in the end. And I'd just like to thank the staff at Banquet Records in Kingston for being so incredibly helpful. I'm not great on my feet. I think there was a lot of people with the same problem, but it's very easy to go past the rack and realise that you missed one of the records that you wanted. But they were very helpful and were very graciously found out whether it's still available and got it for you if it was still around. So if you've never tried Record Store Day, it is worth having a look. And I did my first one last year, and I came back for more. So a lot of people get up very, very early. They did a quick video of us in the queue, and a lot of people were saying some numbers out, and I couldn't work out what this was, because the guy didn't tell us in our section, but it was basically the time that you joined the queue, and I think I joined the queue about 8:20 in the morning, and I think I got it was sort of I think it was sort of, I'm not sure what time it was when I actually got into the front. I think it was certainly gone 10:30 at least, maybe a bit later. But it's not every day I'd like to queue up for that length of time. But it was it's a very enjoyable event, and it's very. You get talking to people in the queues. The staff are very nice. It's all done with a lot of goodwill, and so do give it a try next year. If you want any of those albums or want to try and have a look, they will be available. These records, I think, on either Monday or Tuesday of next week, in a few days, and you can order them online. At the moment, you have to physically go to the shop to get them on Record Store Day, and you're only allowed to buy one of each. One record per person, so none of that rubbish where somebody buys 50 copies and puts them out on eBay for 5 times the price or whatever. B&M, take note with your Doctor Who figures. But if you've enjoyed this, I can't think why I did enjoy it. But if you did enjoy it and you'd like to subscribe, please do so. Please tick the like button. Click the bell if you want to hear when I've got another one of these masterpieces coming out. And just share it with somebody if you want to. And great. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. I'm signing off now. Goodbye, God bless, and see you soon. Bye-bye.